Hello, BookTube. I've got a little mail for you today on an absolutely gorgeous Thursday here in late summer. Just gorgeous. The humidity is like 30%. So the sun is warm, but nothing feels oppressive. Just absolutely delightful. Just delightful. Outside. The weather outside is wonderful. Inside, the condition here of Hyde Cottage is even worse than it was the last time I complained about it, which I think was yesterday. Or the day before that. Thanks to myself. It's not like there's been an earthquake here. Thanks to myself, Hyde Cottage is in shambles. Absolute shambles. As I try in my decrepit, frail, shut-in way to move things around and reorganize things. I really shouldn't do it. I should wait until I have a house guest. Maybe a house guest with lats and delts. but now I've been doing it myself. So the place is a mess. But the weather is beautiful. So every time the little bean and I have been outside, can you see her over on her chair? There she is, sound asleep. Every time we've been outside, it's been delightful. And I have a little mail. So we're going to go through, and once again, the mail includes, frankly, an insult. That is an insult. I don't know what's in here, but I am not afraid. As I said last time, I have a poetry guy at Open Letters. Usually a package this small is going to be a slim volume of poetry, and that used to give me the willies, but I have a poetry guy. And he's really good. He's worth his weight in Boston cream pies. It's not easy to write about poetry, especially contemporary poetry, which is so awful. But let's see what this is. Oh, all right. Oh, well, this is poetry. I suppose I should send this to him. I kind of want to review it myself, but I should probably send it to him and see what he can do. He's never done anything like this, I don't think. Okay, great. Well, this is the New York Review of Books, people, and they have come out with another wonderful little book. This is 50 Poems by Rilke, and this is translated by Jeffrey Lehman. So we have the German on one side and the English on the other in a lovely little hand-sized edition. Gray on the front, purple on the back. Very nice. And this comes out in early October. So what do we got here? This book offers a new bilingual selection of poems from Rilke, translated by Australian poet Jeffrey Lehman. They have poets in Australia? Who knew? Drawn from New Poems in 1907, the two-part collection encompassing the major work of Rilke's middle period, after Book of Hours and before the Duino elegies and sonnets to Orpheus, this edition includes some of the master's best-loved poems, including Archaic Torso of Apollo, Autumn Day, and Buddha. These are poems of travel, daily observation, self-reflection, and ekphrasis. See what I mean? You're driven to words like ekphrasis. Written with a striking outwardness, much different from the romantic reveries of the earlier poems, yet lurking behind their subjects, a panther in the gardens in Paris, a pot of blue hydrangeas, a mother's fingers, one of many sculptures, is a deep yearning for higher knowledge, a love of memory and art, and a search for transcendence often rooted in the body, a glimpse or glance in the simplest passage of an hour. All right. Well, this comes out in early October, and I should curb my inquisitiveness and send it to my poetry guy, even though I'd kind of like to. I kind of like to keep this for myself. Especially since I don't think my poetry guy can read German, so literally one half of this book will be wasted. What do we have in terms of anything else, though? Oh, all right. There's no introduction, but there is an afterword called "Impersonating Rilke in English," which is written by the translator. Okay, so there's a long translator's note. Basically, it's a translator's note, not an afterword. And there's it's long in the back of this thing. That is fascinating. I will at least read that before I send this winging on its way. I don't know. I think I'm going to the post office next week, so I can love this thing up before I let go of it. So there you go. That's one. And now we'll deal with this second package, and then we'll be done. What have we got here? It's a galley copy of some kind. Oh, very good. Okay, this comes out at the very beginning of December. and it's historical fiction, but it is popular historical fiction. So this is eminently pitchable. We don't have to talk about pitching this thing because I've got a guy for it. And it's October. It's early October. You could pitch this, I suppose, since it's late August. But for a journal that pays, you'd be cutting it awful close. And most of them won't do poetry. Don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. So you'd be up against it. But this, much, much more likely. This is Bernard Cornwell. This is the latest Sharpe novel, Sharpe's Storm. Unfortunately, continuing the trend that we have seen in 2025 of ugly U.S. covers. Ugly or boring or lazy U.S. covers. So this comes out in... you've got plenty of time to pitch this thing. Plenty of time. And you've got a perfect angle to pitch it with to a paying editor, because the Sharpe's novels really do, I know it's a cliche, but they really do need no introduction. If you run a book section that has a wide readership, some of that readership is guaranteed to have read every book in this series. It's a long series, like 30 books. So you would just pitch it that way. And you would be, I think, mistaken, eyes bigger than stomach, to pitch a review of this book if you haven't read the Sharpe's novels, at least a few of them. But what have we got here for Sharpe's Storm? Let's see here. English soldier Richard Sharpe, been loved by readers and reviewers for decades, spawning a TV show starring Sean Bean. The reappearance of Sharpe in Cornwell's book Sharpe's Assassin from 2021 was praised by critics, including Booklist, who marveled that Cornwell steps back into Sharpe's world as though he never left it. I remember we saw that on this channel where the series suddenly revived in 2021. So what have we got here? This is going to be a $32 hardcover coming out on the 2nd of December. The year is 1813. France is a battlefield, and winter shows no mercy. Amidst brutal conditions, Major Richard Sharpe finds himself saddled with an unexpected burden. Rear Admiral Sir Joel Chase, dispatched by the Admiralty with sealed orders, unshakable confidence, and a frankly terrifying enthusiasm for combat. Sharpe's mission from Wellington is clear, yet anything but simple. Keep Sir Joel alive. Sir Joel could hold the key to defeating Napoleon once and for all, but to pull off his audacious plan, he needs someone who knows how to fight dirty, think fast, and survive the impossible. He needs Richard Sharpe. Okay, great. Fantastic. Well, I would be sold anyway. I'm a long-time fan of this series. But this comes out long enough for you to pitch this to an editor. If you were interested in doing that, you have plenty of time, and this practically pitches itself. And again, whether or not you get your pitch accepted is not going to come down to your eloquence in the pitch, because your eloquence in the pitch won't happen. Your pitch is 3 lines long, not 3 sentences. 3 lines on the page. Your pitch is that big with all this white space at the bottom. And so your eloquence doesn't come into it. Trust me, if you write a pitch that's a whole page long, no editor is going to read it. They simply aren't. They might scan it to see what book you're talking about, but the thing about this is that, fair or not fair, any book section editor is going to know immediately whether or not they want to cover that book. Immediately. They're not going to have to research it. In most cases, you're not going to have to talk them into it. Every once in a while, over the course of decades, I did talk an editor into something, but always through an email exchange, never through a pitch. Never through just a static paragraph on a page. Always through an email exchange saying, well, you weren't interested in this. I just thought I'd make one more case for it because this is why it's really interesting. Every once in a while, I've had an editor go for that. But that will only happen that way. It won't happen in your pitch. Your pitch is only 3 lines long. So what's going to determine it, for good or ill, is the editor in question. And if you pitch this to a few places, there's a good chance that you will get a Sharpe fan. And maybe they didn't know a new book was coming out. You'd be amazed at how little a lot of book editors know about what's coming out. Their own nominal job. Maybe they don't have anyone, and maybe they want one. Maybe they want someone to do it. Could very well be. Could very well be. You would want to stress in those 3 lines, remember, not 3 sentences. 3 lines. That's as much space as you have. I know you're brilliant, but you have 3 lines of space on the page. One thing you'd want to stress is that Sharpe has been read by millions of people. That will help the editor if they're on the fence at all. And the other thing you'll want to stress, which is true of the Sharpe novels that have appeared recently, is that you don't need to read 30 books to get this. You should have read at least some of them in order to review it, but you don't have to have read those books to like them, to like this, to get it. It's not that kind of a series at all. You could stress that in your pitch. Call it a jumping on point. Call it perfectly fine for newcomers to the series. That might work. I've had that happen myself, where an editor was not thinking about. Gee, I wasn't thinking about reviewing the new Donna Leone murder mystery set in Venice, but I do like that series. I know a lot of readers like that series, and here you are with a copy of the book, and you're asking if you can review it. Okay, that's an easy yes. That will happen. Sometimes that will happen, and this is a perfect example of what would make it happen. A long-running, beloved, name recognition series. Perfect example. So you could do it. You could absolutely do it. But anyway, those are our books for today. A slim volume of poetry and historical fiction that I already know I'm going to love. I doubt that I'll get to Sharpe's Storm until November. I really doubt that I will. I'm still cleaning up. August and September and October are pretty crowded months. So, but I will get to it. I will. I would never miss an installment in this series. So there you go. That is a bit of the mail on an absolutely gorgeous day. It is going to cloud over this afternoon. It is, I think, going to stay cloudy tonight. And tomorrow is going to be one of those days where you've got a threat of rain or even thunder pretty much all day long. Now, on days like that, it's just a threat. Some days it doesn't happen at all. But I can't really take the little baby on a long walk if we're going to get caught in the rain. And I have a feeling tomorrow is going to look like that the whole day. She hates getting caught in the rain. A couple of weeks ago, we got caught in a thunderstorm. Well and truly caught in a thunderstorm. I mean, so we were doing a canned walk. It was a routine walk in the neighborhood. Christopher Russell was here as my guest. I didn't want to take a long walk. And we were at the exact halfway point. In other words, as far away from Hyde Cottage as we could get. We were just about to turn around and make our way back. We were at the exact halfway point when, honest to God, I felt like a squirrel had hit my head with an acorn. That's how strong that first fat drop of rain was. It cracked against my head. And I did what I always do. I look around on the sidewalk to see if there are other spots, and there were a couple. And I thought, well, maybe we have time to make it back. Maybe we do. And we didn't. We didn't. We got 100 yards from the front door and had to take refuge under a doorway in a downpour that for a few minutes at a time was so heavy you could barely see through it. To put it mildly, Frida does not want that to happen again, ever. So tomorrow might be dodgy for walks, but we will see. Anyway, I will wrap this up for now. That is the mail, a bit of it anyway, for today, and I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.